Sometimes it's Virat Kohli, sometimes it's Ishan Kishan, and today it was Harry Brook. One thing is crystal clear. This coach, this captain, the selectors, and the likes of Babar Azam, Shaheen Khan, Mohammad Nawaz, Saim Ayub, and an all-time defensive mindset never deserved to qualify for the semifinals in the first place. Sure, there's still a chance and calculators are out, but no one can say they deserved to qualify. An absolute atrocious captaincy by Salman Agha when it comes to bowling rotation, field placements, and defensive mindset. An absolute mockery of selection by captain, by coach, and selectors, dropping Babar Ahmed and Fahim Ashraf. An absolute circus in the name of batting by Saim Ayub, Babar Azam, Salman Ali Agha, and the so-called all-rounders. An absolute joke of batting order by the captain coming in at number 3 to face pace and sending Babar to face his nightmares, the spinners. And an absolute laughable waste of time bowling by Shaheen Khan, Mohammad Nawaz, and Saim Ayub. And before I go any further, if you haven't already done so, do subscribe to my channel and like this video. And thank you to the subscribers, 2,000 strong. So I appreciate that a lot. Anyway, getting back to the game, taking nothing away from Harry Brook, who probably played one of his best T20 innings and single-handedly took the game away from Pakistan. I mean, he promoted himself to number 3 and led his team to the semifinals. He mentioned in the post-match conference that his coach, Brendan McCullum, asked him to bat up the order because he plays well against Pakistan. And he proved it. He took the task with both hands and beautifully delivered it. There were singles, there were doubles all around the ground and attacking boundaries in his innings. I mean, he played just 50 balls and scored 100 runs out of the 165 runs that the team needed to win. I mean, Harry Brook stood tall and outplayed every bowler and got in the Pakistan's captain's head for sure, who literally laid out the red carpet for Brook to excel. Now, first of all, yeah, batting is your strength, although I don't know what is your strength anymore, Pakistan. But if dew was going to be a factor, then why did Captain Salman Ali Agha choose to bat first? Plus, Harry Brook also said it's a fresh pitch, so it could be good for chasing when he was asked. Okay, sure, we'll let it go because, we know you think in a two-dimensional fashion. And although you have won pretty much every toss this tournament, you make diabolical decisions every time, just like you chose to bat first against New Zealand when the game was at risk of rain. But then, whether it's rigidity, stubbornness, or just mindlessness, you stuck with the same batting order, disregarding the opponent, disregarding the conditions, disregarding the situation. Babar Azam could have opened with Sahibzada Farhan, but no. Okay, you send Saim. All right, we get it. Saim does what he has been doing in the tournament so far and toe ends a ball for a catch on Jofra Archer's bowling. Now, Jofra Archer is sending speeds of 140 plus your way. You know Babar struggles against spin and you yourself struggle against pacers. But this is the beginning of the third over only. Archer has a wicket on the first ball of a second wicket, but you choose to walk out in the middle. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's because you're going by Coach Hessen's syllabus that Babar is only limited to play between the 6th and the 10th overs, and this was just the 3rd. Okay, so you completely disregard the situation, the pitch, the opponent, the bowler, and you walk out even though you yourself are averaging, 15 runs in the tournament if you take out that one innings against Namibia. Brilliant. Now, you don't last more than 6 balls and slog sweep it to Overton, who took a stunning catch diving. So basically 5 balls in, Babar Azam has to walk out of the pitch anyway. Great. Let's see what he does. There was one shot he played which looked so pleasing to the eye where he just angled the bat and beat third man for a 4. Besides that, I think he wasted easy pickings from Adil Rashid. And this was also the time when there was some ridiculous running or lack of running between the wickets taking place and pressure was building up that he was creating all by himself and for reasons only Babar knows. And just like how Coach Hessen said in the press conference the other day about Babar, saying Babar is only good to play between the 6th and the 10th over, well, Babar Azam obliged and fell on the second last ball of the 11th over, misreading the line and the ball crashing the top of the off stump, awarding Overton his first wicket of the night. Guess that proves one thing. Babar not only cannot play spin, he can't play. I mean, in Agha, well, he's still clueless. Salman Ali Agha introduced Usman Tariq again later. We saw him warming up, but then the ball was given to Shadab Khan in the 7th over outside of the power play, even though Mohammad Nawaz's first over, the final over in the power play, went for 17 runs. He got Tom Benton with his first delivery. And if you guys remember, it was Benton who reported to the umpire in the ILT for his action. And you could see that in Usman's celebration. Plus, he did put down a sitter a few overs before that. So that could also be the reason. Anyhow, then you would think Agha would continue with Usman Tariq and give him the 10th over because he bowled the 8th over. And you needed to put pressure on England. And he is your mystery bowler, your underutilized spinning option. But no, the skipper gives that to Saima Ayub while continuing with Shadab on the other end. And this is after he got a wicket first ball and ended his first over for 1 for 5. And the team is in dire need of a wicket because Harry Brook was batting at 47 from 25. Now, what kind of bowling rotation was this from Salman Ali Agha? I mean, has he lost his mind? Shadab and Saim were given the next overs. I mean, are you kidding me? The team is filled with a bucket load of seniors. No one thought to go up to the clueless Agha and tell him that this is not the time to contain runs. This is the time to attack. There's Babar, who has captained the team in 3 World Cups and is playing his 4th. There's Shadab Khan, the pseudo-captain. There's Fakhr. There's Shaheen Afridi. And the coach. Like, couldn't anyone question and stop Agha? Usman Tariq remains the most misused, the most underutilized mystery spinner in the World Cup. And when the whole world is talking about him, when not a lot of players have faced him except for those who've played him either against or with him in the leagues, mind you, he still got the wicket of Sam Curran despite playing under his captaincy in the ILT T20 in Dubai. But the captain, Salman Agha, and coach Mike Hesson and selectors didn't have him in the lineup in the match against the USA, if you remember, in the first round. And since that match, he has been introduced later, and just so late. And is the last to complete his full quota of 4 overs despite being a wicket-taking bowler from the get-go. And if I'm not mistaken, this would be his 26th consecutive match taking a wicket. But Pakistan wants to drag on with Shadab Khan and Mohammad Nawaz over him and over Babar Azam, whose World Cup campaign looks to be over. Now imagine if Usman Tariq was bowling on one end with Babar Azam on the other in today's game. There is no way England would have been able to bat so freely like they did. They knew they needed to just see off Usman Tariq's over and could easily cash in on Shadab and Nawaz's overs, and they absolutely did that. Easy pickings. Shadab leaked 31 runs alone in his 3 overs and failed to get a wicket. No, but let's keep him because he will sometimes hit a few boundaries and will sometimes take a catch. And because he will do that, let's give him overs ahead of your most talked about specialist spin option, Usman Tariq, and drop Babar Azam while at it. Like, what a headache-inducing captaincy. I mean, I don't even know how many times I shook my head during this match while fasting. Seriously, stop this foolishness. Favoritism is obvious. Production is clear. You waste new and old talent, specialist bowlers to protect your favorite. Where is Sufyan Muqim? Where is Osama Mir? Where's that new one, the Chinaman? See, I'm already forgetting his name. See, this is what happens. They just keep slapping Shadab Khan in our faces and wasting away proper talent that have the potential and the ability to perform. Faisal Akram, there. I mean, they introduced Mohammad Nawaz thinking he'll fail again and Shadab will walk into the team right off the hospital bed, which he did. But Nawaz ended up performing, so they stuck with him too. Like, how do they expect to get better if favoritism is blatantly rampant in the side? Honestly, it's sickening now. You sit out Fahim Ashraf when he was the one who stepped up when your specialist fast bowlers were failing in the Asia Cup. He stepped up when your entire batting lineup failed against the Netherlands, on the backs of whom you are able to see the Super 8s in the first place. In the games he featured, he didn't even know if he would be bowling or not. Like this all-rounder culture created by Mike Hesson and Salman Agha, which prefers the spin trio of Shadab, Nawaz, and Saim, who gave away 76 runs in the 6 overs in the middle of the innings. But still, we won't see Babar Azam from India's game to New Zealand's and now England's. Salman Ali Agha's captaincy has been nothing short of horrendous. I mean, when he introduced Babar in the power play against India, then he chose to bat first against New Zealand on a game impacted by rain to today, where he held back Usman Tariq and introduced Nawaz in the power play, followed by Shadab, all the while letting Harry Brook and the new batter Sam Curran settle. Through all of that, the game was already lost. After that, it was England's to lose. Nonetheless, the effort shown today by some can be appreciated, and by some, I mean literally a handful. Shaheen Afridi, there's Sahibzada Farhan, and Babar Azam, I guess. For the first time in a long time, Shaheen seemed to be thinking and executing his thought process accurately. I mean, proving his selection in the game today. He bowled outside the off-stump line, and for a few moments, he looked like the Shaheen we would praise. And literally taking nothing away from him today, he looked like a thinking bowler, and he bowled with a plan. First over, first ball, the wicket of Phil Salt, who probably thought he would get an in-swinger, then the wicket of Butler, who is yet to perform in the World Cup and could have played that ball better, but whatever. And then a Bethel, who could be dangerous, but Sahibzada Farhan, who was in a great form, ran 20-odd meters to grab a beautiful catch, and then ending it with deceiving Harry Brook with a Yorker, but by then it was too late. I mean, nice to see him shaking hands and acknowledging his innings and congratulating Harry Brook, but Shaheen, just please don't get carried away sending gifts and such when he has a child, okay? Sorry, I had to throw that in. Sahibzada Farhan, he's a leading run getter of the tournament, continuing, to play his game. He did score yet another 50 in the tournament, but there were the usual dip or the dot balls in his innings in the later half. And with Babar Azam, both of them did miss opportunities to score doubles and runs that could have been there between the wickets. Still, Sahibzada Farhan is the only one performing with the bat for Pakistan, and with the chances he's been given, although today he had the chance to turn that 50 into 100 like Harry Brook did for his side. I mean, the charge really only started when Babar was out and Babar Azam came on the crease. For someone who hasn't gotten a chance to play in the tournament, this was a better return for him, but then, they all get out the same way. Shadab Khan added, 25 runs, which pushed the score to somewhat of a respectable total. Although England would know that they gave away probably 10 to 15 runs due to poor fielding. Usman Khan also came and left in a blink, but I do want to take a moment to praise Usman Khan for some wonderful glove work. I mean, he took 3 catches behind the stumps and had a fantastic stumping off of Nawaz in the 19th over that probably sent some jitters in the English camp. But the game was sealed far before that, and anyone who's doubting that, doesn't know Pakistan. Other than that, Captain Salman Agha, seniors Babar Azam, Shadab Khan, and Nawaz, and Saim Ayub, who should also be considered a senior playing at this point, playing 50-something matches, all failed today. And more often than not have failed in the entire tournament. And if it wasn't for Sahibzada Farhan's 60-something runs up on the top, Pakistan would have likely struggled to cross the 110, 120 mark. And when you compare the running between the wickets of the two teams, England scored 40 runs off of 20 balls just by running twos. The problems are multifaceted in this team. The rigidity when it comes to batting order. Harry Brook comes in at number 3 and takes the game away. I think it was Hetmeyer too, who did the same thing for West Indies the other day. But Captain Agha hasn't done anything this whole tournament but bowled that first over against India, bagging Abhishek Sharma, who we all know now is undergoing a dip in his form anyway. And as I mentioned in my previous video on the match between India and South Africa, teams winning games in this tournament have found a way to climb out of a situation when their openers or top order get out cheaply. I mean, South Africa did that when they were, at 20 for 3. India couldn't do that when they were also around that mark, 20, 26 for 3. West Indies were, 2 for 54 and flipped the game completely. And frankly, the immaturity and stubbornness displayed by the captain today and the coach when it comes to selection is what we're all sowing now. I mean, if you question them, they will recite the pointless bilateral wins against teams carrying half the squad. And to those who will be relieved that at the very least, Pakistan advanced to the next round and passed the group stages, then then just look at the team's distribution in each group. I mean, Pakistan and India were both in a group with 3 associate teams to ensure they move forward, or else there is no way that with this type of selection, this type of horrendously defensive and mindless captaincy, that they ever have a chance. I mean, calculators are out, prayers will be asked for, and we shall see what pans out for this frivolous team.